Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yes Go. I am your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and excited to be here with you on an amazing show that helps you answer the two biggest questions you entertain when faced with opportunity. Number one, should I do this? And number two, when should I start? The answers are simple: yes and go. You know, this year, I just strongly believe that this is your year. This is your year that you're going to get out of your head and take massive action. And I'm completely committed to helping you do so by bringing you some amazing conversations with some amazing, successful people who were just right where you are today, and they stepped out, exercised insane courage in the face of adversity, and did something amazing. Tony Robbins says success leaves clues. And so if you listen to these interviews today, you're going to get as you listen to this interview today, you're going to get some significant insight on what it takes for you to get from where you are to where you want to be. And I'm super excited to have with me an amazing person. This is probably like one of my dream interviews to have with me, Jeanette. I call it Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega. She is a celebrity fitness trainer. She's the owner and founder of Extreme Results Fitness Incorporated. She is the creator of a fitness model called Ortega. I cannot wait till we unpack that. She also trains celebrities. She's worked on Bravo TV's Flipping Out, OWN Network's Chad Loves Michelle. She also is a best-selling author of the book Passionista, as well as the Little Black Book of Fitness. I mean, she has a ton of accolades, and it is a pleasure to have her here with us today, bringing her to you, the YesGo audience. And I just want to say on the behalf of my audience, Jeanette, it is a pleasure to have you here with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. What an introduction. Thank you.
You know, you've accomplished a lot in your professional career, and a lot of things throughout your life. 25 years experience as a certified personal trainer, best selling author over a couple of books, working with celebrities and things of that nature. I'm pretty sure when people meet you and they get your accolades, like your reputation well precedes you before you even meet people. What we want to do today is kind of peel back and allow people to get to know the you behind your success. So just take a moment, if you wouldn't mind, and just introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Jeanette Ortega. And yes, I have, been in the fitness and health industry for over 25 years. So I've seen it go through all kinds of phases. I've owned my gym. I owned my gym for over 10 plus years. And I created a fitness method called Ortega, which is a fusion of boot camp, yoga, and meditation. I'm a huge yogi myself. I'm a certified yoga instructor as well. I lead meditations. I'm very big in fitness of mind, body, and spirit. So through my transformation and transition through all these years, especially through fitness, I really realized that we need to be fit in our mind, fit in our body, and fit in our spirit. So that evolution took me into a whole new dynamic. And that's when Ortega was created. I also travel and do some humanitarian service and take Ortega over there too, for people to understand that fitness is just more than the physical. It has to do with our mental. It has to do with our spirit. That's how we truly live our best life. And so I'm a speaker as well. And I'm just, so humbled and happy when I'm able to share my knowledge, my lessons, my growth. It has definitely not all been rainbows and butterflies. There's been some definite, downhills and slums where you're just like, what's going on? But that has definitely created who I am today. And so when I write I write from the depths of my soul and what really, the hard times that made me really come out to where I am now. So there's so much, it's sometimes even hard to introduce yourself, right? Because there's so much more, and it's so much more than just what I do. We're so much more than identities, and we're so much more than titles. And so who I am is just a lover of life, and I'm here to help and guide people to live their best life as best as I can. So whatever knowledge that I have, I am here to give that.
I'm glad that you shared that, because that's one thing I want to make sure we're conveying with our audience, and something like, here's a person who's done it, probably been more places than most people can even imagine when it comes to platforms, stages, what your career has positioned you to be able to do. And yet you said something so profound. We're so much more. And even when you're introducing yourself and you think of it, we immediately default to titles, default to achievements. But I love what you said. I'm a lover of life. I'm a lover of life. And you're just very committed to helping people live out the best version of themselves. I think that is beautiful. I think that is something worth illuminating. That's why I went back to be able to draw attention to that, because at the very core of who you are is just a lover of life. That brings me to a term that we were talking about even before we got started on the show, a passionista. If you will, for a moment, take a moment and define for us, what is a passionista?
Absolutely. So to me, my definition, my experience as a passionista is someone who is passionate about their dreams, passionate to go out there and search and do whatever it takes to really live out your passion and your purpose. So I believe passion and purpose go together. So to me, passionista is you have so much passion. So you get out there, you take actions, and there may be a lot of no's, but you still go out there and you do your best to strive for whatever your goals, your dreams, your desires, all of that. So that to me is a true passionista, is you're just pursuing your passion, you're pursuing your dream, you're pursuing, to me, I'm pursuing my purpose. And so it's constantly with passion and with love and with dedication, knowing that this is what you're called to do. And so the passion is what drives you, and it drives you to reach, where you want to go. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that you say that. Wallace D. Wattles says in The Science of Getting Rich that doing what you want to do is life. Doing what you want to do is life. And when I hear you talk about being a passionista, I hear life. I hear, really allowing your desires to be a full expression. I hear someone really following their desires, letting them lead them into doing something. And what I've found about this, my own personal mantra, tagline, whatever you want to call it, behind it is choose life. Because it is there where we, really express what's inside of us, our every dynamic of us, our creative ability. That within itself, that living from a desire allows us to come from a place of desire versus force.
Right.
Versus force. And when you look at what you've been able to accomplish in your time and in your period of just starting out 25 years ago as a trainer, and now the many things that you've done, how have you seen the difference between what you have been empowered to do versus what felt like a force?
Yes. Oh, I would have to say literally, and like you said, starting back as a trainer. It's funny because it took me back to like way back. I'm like, wow, let me go back there. When I started just in fitness, I loved how it made me feel. So when I would exercise, like I was euphoric. And I was like, it was such a natural high. And to me, I was like, everybody needs to feel this. How can I have everyone feel this? Like, this is so amazing what it did to my body, my mind, everything. And so I would just go with the flow of what felt good to me. And that's always been something that has been inside me is I would follow my intuition. I'd follow my gut. I would follow what felt good for me. So if I felt that high and great and energy and love, then that's just what I kept pursuing. And so as I kept following that, that's where I believe the transition into empowering me to open up my gym came from. Because, taking it, I trained people, then I started outdoor boot camps, and it got bigger and bigger, and then it was time for me to open a gym. And when I did that, it was from being empowered and going with the flow of, yes, this is going to work, this is happening. And there was times I was like, okay, these numbers are not going to make sense to me right now. I have to hit this goal to make sure that I can cover this. But at that time, it wasn't like it was forced. I just felt very empowered to just do it and go for it. And it has panned out. So to me, it's all about following your heart, following your gut, not constantly your mind. We have to sometimes close it down because our mind gets like, no, you should do it this way. It's, our mind's there to protect us. Our mind's there for comfort. Our mind's there for all of that. So I literally, all these years, have followed my heart and my gut, because those are the two places where I feel will not steer you wrong. The head will kind of tell you it's wrong. Like, how can you do this logically? It's not going to make sense. But when you follow your heart and your soul, it's not our job to know the how, because the how just comes into place. So when you flow divinely into what your alignment is, then things and people and situations and circumstances show up. So to me, that's how I feel I've been very empowered in my life, is by truly following my intuition, following my heart, following my soul. And the times that I didn't, the times when I doubted that and went more logically, are times where it did not go well for me. So
And
that was my biggest lesson.
that right there speaks to the psychology behind this show. Is the dynamic of, do I follow what's in my head? Should I do this? When should I start? It's like one question seems to be for the mind, and the other one seems to be for the heart.
Right?
And when you can bring those two together and really step out and do something, you can truly produce something amazing. You're living proof of it. It is a pleasure having you here with us on the show. I'm looking so forward to delving further into this and having greater conversations. We'll be right back. Stay tuned with us. Hello and welcome back to Yes Go. I'm your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and I have with me today celebrity trainer, fitness trainer, creator of Ortega, Jeanette Ortega. I call her Jenna. She is an amazing soul, amazing individual. Jenna, we were talking about, before we left the last segment, you were telling us about Ortega. Now, let me back up and say this. You were talking about your approach to fitness, which seems more like a holistic approach, mind, body, and soul, like spirit, right? So this holistic approach, how does that play into Ortega? And just tell us like, what is Ortega?
So Ortega is a fusion of boot camp, yoga, and meditation. And the whole way that it came about, I, owned a gym for quite some time. And I would see clients constantly come in, and they're either like, and who I used to be, how we evolve. So you would come to me or come to my gym because you wanted to get your butt kicked. So boot camp, all that good stuff. But I also was a lover of yoga. And I saw that how we need to have both. And if you only have an hour of the day, usually people that are really hardcore, they'll just go straight to boot camp. They won't do yoga. Yoga's they just won't do it. But if you're a yogi, you'll do yoga and you really won't do boot camp. Yet we still need that strength. We still need for the bone density, the muscle. So I saw how, we just get so trapped into our routines that we don't like to make a change. But I also was seeing how when we do something over and over and over again, the same, our bodies don't adjust. So we need muscle confusion. We need to, switch things up for our body and all of that. And what I realized too is like we have our body can only hold so much emotions, all of that. And when it does, it starts to give us signals, and people start to not be able to lose weight. So they hit plateaus, and then, it's more of a mental game. It's such a mind-body connection that people, I don't think, understand how connected it truly can be, or how it is connected. And so when I would see all of this, I was like, okay, well, this person's not losing weight because there's some issues mindset-wise, or this person's just broken in their soul because of what they've just gone through during their life experience, and they just can't break that. So this is when I realized there needed to be that fusion. We needed fitness, not just for our physical body, but we needed it for our soul, to make your soul happy, to release emotions. We needed it for our mindset, which is where the meditation piece came in, of how can we just start to silence down our mind? How can we let go? How can we focus on our breath? How to bring the body and the cellular system back into calmness. And so that's really how that came out, was I really saw the need for it with so many clients going in and out of my doors. And then also, as an owner and a trainer, you hear, everyone's stories. People open up to you. You hear what they're going through. They're hurting. And we're all looking for a place of refuge. We're all looking for a release. And so that's how this all came about. And I also took a trip to Bali, and I went and did yoga, and I've always loved it, but this experience was the most amazing experience of my life. I was in Ubud in Bali at this amazing yoga studio, and it was basically like on top of a tree. And I remember looking out, and there was no windows, and all you see is nature and greenery and beauty. And I was like, wow, this is amazing, and I'm here doing this. For that whole hour and a half, I focused on nothing but my breath to movement, my body being so present to exactly where I was. And it wasn't until after the class was over that I realized, oh my gosh, I didn't think of anything else but exactly where I was, exactly each moment by moment, how I was moving with my breath and my body and the beauty that surrounded me. And that's when I promised, when I came back home to my gym, that it was going to transform. However I could create that feeling that I felt to everyone else was how I was going to then start it. So that really started my whole holistic more approach of fitness, was because of the need of it, my experience of it, what it helped me, what I was going through during that time in my life as well. And so it was just beautiful. So all of that combined together is what created Butoga, because now it's the complete system. It's the complete fitness. It's the complete, because we're so unbalanced. If we just focus on the body, the mind, goes, or sometimes we just focus on the mindset. We go to all these personal development classes or seminars, but yet the body doesn't get any attention. So it's like we have to have that balance, and learning how to do that in those areas are very key going forward in life and helping you with everything that comes our way. So that's truly how Butoga was created.
That's interesting, and I love the whole concept and the ideology behind it, behind the methodology. Because one of the things that I've noticed is that even like you were talking about mindset stuff was really more of, around my wheelhouse. But one of the things that I share with people is like, listen, if all you do is sit and conceptualize this, you're never going to go anywhere. It's not complete until it's demonstrated, until you're able to literally, pardon the term, exercise it or play it out in your life. You're never going to get the full benefit of it. And I see that happen so commonly. But I'm looking at the power behind this methodology. If people can get this down in a fitness routine, what could that literally spill over into for life? For an individual? Like, how could that impact their life? I mean, it's phenomenal to think about it.
Thank you. Yeah, and it really does. And that's why I tell them, I'm like, this filters into every other area of your life. This filters into your relationships with people. your children, your career, your business. Like it filters into everything. And then when those hard times come, you have tools as well. Like, okay, how do I calm down? How do I breathe? How do I not react? And how do I find resolution? And so it helps you to really be with yourself in a way that you've probably never been before.
That within itself is powerful, because now we're talking about the power of a clarified mind.
Yes.
I often help people that's literally what makes you limitless, is a clarified mind. When you have clarity, you're able to access a level of resourcefulness that you didn't even know was there. And I was listening to you talk about how for that whole entire workout you were completely present and you could feel everything that was happening. Is there anything more powerful than that, Jenna? Anything at all?
Yeah, no. That, like, I still go back to that, and even as I tell the story, because even when I speak, I tell that story because it was so powerful to me. And I was going through some stuff, so that trip came so perfectly at that time, and nothing. It was such peace because I just focused on that moment by moment by moment, and I was so in tune with my mind, my body, and my surroundings, that if we could actually do that on a daily basis, how much power that would give us.
I think some people are afraid of it. Like to think, oh boy, if I did this, somehow I might pick up a glow or something, or I might, be a freak or something. But like, that's just how disconnected we are from who we were really created to be.
Correct. And it's the limiting beliefs of society, of how we were brought up from our, parents, everything. It's like, there's a way we should be. So when it's out of that norm, then, oh, that person's a little off, or they're a little crazy, or they're woo-woo, or, there's so many different terms to be called. And it's just like, it doesn't matter what you want to identify me as. I'm at my highest vibration when I'm just with myself and feeling it and loving it and being at peace and being at love and compassion with people, with circumstances. It's a whole different world. And that's really how our bodies were designed to be.
And I think the thing that really helps to, even like when I'm dealing with people concerning their energy, when the simple way to take all the woo out of it, it impacts, it has everything to do with the way you show up in life.
Absolutely.
Every single thing, how you show up in life. If you want to show up stronger, you want to show up and literally make a greater impact in your life, you have to check your energy. And Ortega seems to be like the ultimate solution to help you get there. This is phenomenal. It's an amazing methodology, and I'm so glad that we are one of the first few people. Like, our audience goes all over the world, and so people are all over the world hearing about this right now, and I'm so glad you're here to share it with us. When we come back, we're going to talk with Jeanette about what was her yes go moment, what got her to own this path and getting started with everything. So please stay with us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Yes Go. I'm your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and I am super excited about my guest that I have with us today, Jeanette Ortega. Jeanette Ortega. I call her Jenna, and I have to be mindful to keep saying Jeanette because I just like to call her Jenna. So in the spirit of that, Jenna,
Yes.
we want to talk now about your yes go moment, okay?
Okay.
And literally, what was that like for you? How'd you get introduced to all of this, and what made you decide to pursue this path for your life?
Okay, well, I shared a little bit how when I was younger, I just loved the feeling that exercise would give me. So this is funny. Even in elementary school, I used to win all the jump rope competitions.
Oh, man.
So here's the funny part, though. So I loved it. I would love exercise, even when I was young. But I don't know if you all remember, but they also used to do these fitness course obstacles because they wanted to test, a fitness test and see where you're at.
Yes.
I could do all of that, but I had the hardest time climbing the rope all the way to the top. And you had to hit your head to the round circle at the top of the rope climb. And I remember always having a hard time, like I couldn't get up there. And I just remember, the PE teacher, in those days was like, okay, you didn't do it, or you have to at least hit this part, didn't do it. And it would be so frustrating to me because I felt like I didn't have the strength. I wasn't strong enough. And so that propelled me I was like, I never want to feel like this again. So that even pushed me farther into, okay, I'm going to get strong. I'm going to get strong. And, I do the circles, the 2 circles, like this is what really happened. She didn't say I was bad or anything or weak, but what I made it mean was I wasn't strong enough to do that. So that like completely pushed me to like get out there and do it even more. And then I got into more weightlifting, and I did fitness and bikini competitions. I won a lot of titles. It was like I had to keep proving my strength in a way. And so even doing my own personal development work as well, it's almost like I had to kind of see how that propelled me, but then I also had to let that go a bit. And when it came time where the opportunity was there for me to finally open a gym, because I'd been doing training and boot camps for years, it was, like I said, it just wasn't even a mind decision. It was all heart and soul. It was just like, do I do this? Yes. My gut and my heart was just, yes, we're opening this gym. I'm doing it. And I kept hearing my numbers girl doing okay, but I was just like, no, I just feel this is right. I have to do this. And it continued. And I had my gym for over 10 years. I just sold it last year so I could focus on Ortega. So I'd have to say, there's just so many different defining moments in your life. It's hard to put it into one, but I do remember that one when I was super young, that it just propelled me to be even stronger. And that kind of pushed into every area of my life as well. And also constantly following my heart and my soul was just, do I do this? If my body felt good, it was a yes. If it didn't feel good and I kind of had to think about it, it was usually a no.
Well, you literally unlock what I share with people. See, there is no just one yes go moment. If you're, really intentional about, maxing out or living full expression in your passions, it's always a series of yes go moments. There's always, new levels, new opportunities that present you to go to even higher dimensions. And even now that you sold your gym, to completely focus on this methodology, that within itself is another dimension. It's another growth in letting go with what you're familiar with to stepping out and doing something else. I mean, take a moment and speak to that. What was that like for you?
That was huge. That was more difficult than I thought it would be, because we get so attached. We get so attached to our identity, who we are, and our people. I mean, I was completely attached to my clients. I love them to death. So it was difficult. It was very hard for me. And this was one time where I didn't follow my intuition, because I felt I should have sold it probably 2 years prior than when I did. But I didn't. I was too attached to it. It was too hard for me to let it go. It's familiar. It's comfortable. It's what I knew. Even though it was hard at times, it was still what I knew. So I didn't do it. And so 2 years later, it was like, I need to get out. I just, my heart and spirit were like, it's time for me to go beyond these 4 walls at the gym. It's time to go more online, get more global people going on this program, reach more people. And so I tell this story not as a bad thing, but I tell it as like we have to listen to ourselves. So I felt I was supposed to sell it 2 years prior to when I did, and I didn't. held on to it. When I did sell it, the sale of my business did not go the way I felt it should go.
Mm.
I feel like I lost money, that I could have made more. Things could have gone way simpler, and it was more difficult for me at that point then to sell it. And so I was like, wow, I didn't listen. I knew I should have back then, but I didn't. And it's all okay. It's all learning process, right? And we realize too how attached we are to things. And that after I sold it, it was also still like, okay, well, who am I now? This is a whole new identity. And when people are like, hi, what do you do? It was usually, hi, I own a gym and I do this, blah, blah. And it was like, even your wording and describing of who you are becomes different. And then you're like, who am I? So I went through a big evolvement again, another change as I shifted from selling the gym into doing, more stuff that I'm doing now online and more speaking and writing. But, I really have to say in every area of our lives, it's constant letting go, not being attached to outcomes, not being attached to how we think it should look. Because when we do, we deem it wrong if it doesn't look the way we feel it should look. And yet it could be so much better than what we can even imagine in our minds. So it was a huge lesson of non-attachment.
That is significant because, and I really just think you just gave away the $1 million clue, because even when I'm working with clients that have reached a certain level in their business and they have this burning desire, that this fire they can't quite harness, that's pushing them to do something more. The temptation is to get comfortable in your achievements and stay where you are. But when you're trying to go someplace you've never been, it requires taking a different path. And isn't it amazing how when we first start out, we're completely fearless about that?
Yes.
But then when it got times to move to that next level, that dimension, all of a sudden we become a lot more fearful than what we did even when we made the first leap. That is crazy.
Yes. I feel it takes each level requires a new level of us. And I feel at times we may not feel we're ready for that new level, or maybe there is a little bit more work to do or something, but each new step requires a new level of ourselves. So it's an unpeeling of releasing the old of who we used to be, because now it's more superpowers are coming in. So release the old so that you can get a new power, basically. I kind of do that analogy so people can understand that, like we're going up a level. So release the old level so that baggage stays there, so you get, the new tools that you need for the next level. And sometimes that's not always easy because we hold on to things so much. We're so attached. And then, it's easier said than done, obviously, but it's something that I feel we all need to work on, is really going through life not being attached to outcomes, people, jobs, homes, material things. It's really not being attached. So, and it takes a lot to do that.
I mean, it's huge, and gosh knows we could have a whole nother show on this whole notion of detachment, and how that plays into moving to your next level. But we don't have time for that. Actually, we got to go to another break. And so you guys hold tight, hold on. Amazing interview here. You don't want to miss it. Stick close. When we come back, Jenna's going to tell us about what's on the other side of Yes Go.
Yay.
Be right back. Hello and welcome back to Yes Go. I'm your host, Coach A.M. Williams, and we're at a point now where Jenna, she's told us all about what her Yes Go moment she was sharing with us, the challenges and the transitions. And I think the one thing I want to add to what you said to that last segment is, for people, oftentimes when we look to start a venture, we'll say, once I make seven figures, man, everything is going to be fine. And we have this mental place where we just think we're going to hit cruise control, and, there's never be another worry. There'll never be another worry in our life. Everything will just be fine. There is no such place. There is no such place. And I think, the more and more, like you sharing what you shared with us the last segment is proof positive of what I'm sharing here, because it's important for people to know, even the natural evolution for us as beings is to grow. It's like the universal law of more life. Like we continuously seek to evolve to become bigger than the space that we feel. We're constantly, there's something in us that naturally craves what that next level looks like, and trying to convince yourself, oh, if I just made this, I'll just be good. Everything will be just. When you stop doing that, you start dying. What would you have to say to that?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I would say to that is to start living in the moment instead of living in the future. And so, we do that so much. Once I get this house, everything will be great. Once I make this amount of money, this will be great. Once I get this client, this will be great. And when I used to compete, I'm like, once I win this show and this title, I'll be happy. And it really never fully fulfills us. We're not fulfilled. And so that's because we're not living in the moment. We're constantly either living in the past or the future instead of living moment by moment. And that is what counts. That's when the goodness is going to come. That's when you're going to have a fulfilled life, is living in the moment. And so that's what I speak to, that is we live too much in the future or too much in the past. And it's learning to really live moment by moment. And that is the biggest lesson that I took when I went to Bali and I was in that yoga session.
People don't have a clue on what you just shared. They have no clue. Like, Yes Go just had its first official drop the mic moment. This said, like, if you're telling yourself one day I'm going to do this, or, when I get this and I'll have that, or when I try living in the present moment, get out of the future, get in the present, because as long as that's where you live, you'll never be satisfied. Even when you get to where you're going, you won't recognize it. You won't even know. And I don't know anyone who's crossed the $1 million mark that didn't say, when I did it, I had to look in my rearview mirror because I didn't even know I hit it. Like every $1 million income earner that I have come across said either their tax accountant had to tell them, or they always caught it in rear view. They never saw the line and crossed it like you see in a relay race. It was always after the fact. So most of what we see really is in hindsight. But Jenna, thank you. That's our first official drop the mic moment. # live in the moment.
Yes.
Make sure that you use that. So Jenna, let's take a moment and talk about the other side of Yes Go. I mean, you practiced insane courage in the midst of your own self-imposed adversity, if you will, your own self-imposed limitation. Should I do this? I'm not ready to do that, and I'm uncomfortable. Let's talk about the other side of Yes Go. Let's talk about, as a result of practicing insane courage, as a result of stepping out and following your desires, what has life brought to you? What has it yielded to you?
It has brought me, oh man, it's probably both sides of the table. By practicing courage and just going out there. Sometimes even practicing courage means that you may be alone because you've taken a step greater than what other people around you are comfortable with. So sometimes when you're courageous, you have to be okay with being alone sometimes, because some people may not understand your vision or see your vision because it's yours. And you have to be okay with that. Your circle of influence, your circle of friends, your tribe changes. or it may change. You'll always have your true blues. I've had my true blue friends who I adore and I'm so grateful for. But there are times too where that changes because of your courage that you're taking, because sometimes what we do when we're stepping out is a little too much. So I've had those moments too, to where it was like, wow, should I do this? Am I doing this correctly? Why do I feel alone? Why am I now doubting myself? What's going on? So I've had those moments, but then on the flip side of that, I've had the most amazing experiences I don't think I would ever have if I didn't take the leap of faith, if I didn't take those steps. I've had epiphanies, I've had manifestations that I've always prayed for or dreamed about come and happen. And I have had connections that came out of the blue where I would never even realize or know. I'm like, there'd be no way I would meet this person. And now here, this person's right here in front of me. How did this happen? So it's like when you take those steps, not knowing, you just have to trust and know that the how comes, things come into alignment. And so I saw both sides very clearly, and there's a lot of times also taking that step of courage means, okay, I'm not going to go out with friends this weekend because guess what? I need to work. I need to be in front of my computer. I need to write. I need to create. I need to finish this project. I have this deadline. And so it requires with, more responsibility, we are required of more. And so there are sacrifices that you're going to have to make, but they don't feel like sacrifices when it's really your purpose. You're excited about it. And to get it done and completed is like the best feeling you have because it's yours, it's your creation, it's something you're passionate about. It's something that is much worth being in the present for versus going out to the club or the bar or whatever it is that you're doing. So there's, two different sides for sure of it, but they all mold you into the growth that you are to take for your next step.
Profoundly said. I totally agree. I think it was Les Brown that said, in order to have what others won't have tomorrow, you must be willing to do today the things that others won't do. And I'm paraphrasing exactly, but it speaks to the notion of sacrifice and doing those things. And the one thing I thought about as you were talking, I was thinking about a rocket or a shuttle. You notice, like, as that rocket continues to go to higher and higher levels, the boosters fall away.
Yes.
And you never see a shuttle carry those boosters into that next dimension. You ultimately, they go with you, but they only go with you so far.
Right. Yeah.
And their contribution has been valuable. But you go to a certain place and then it's you. And you have to be okay with being able to do that in order to achieve that next level success and that next dimension. Doesn't mean that you can't bring people, to that level, but you have to be willing to go it alone. And I appreciate you sharing that. That's an amazing piece. So, Jenna, tell people how they can connect with you. Social media. Tell people how they can connect with you.
Perfect. Yes, thank you. Definitely, you can go to my website, JeanetteOrtega.com. And also follow me on Instagram. I have a few different IG accounts. One is my personal account at Extreme Fit Chick, and that is EXTREMEFITCHIC. So there's no K on chick. So Extreme Fit Chick on Instagram, and there's also Bootoga Worldwide on Instagram, and that's BOOTOGA Worldwide. So you can follow me there. Also Facebook, Jeanette Ortega. And also, especially on my website, JeanetteOrtega.com, we talked about Bootoga and all of that. And one of the reasons why I did sell the gym was to create Bootoga and make it more of a movement and get it out into different places around the world that I can't, get just inside my gym. And so now I have these programs online that you can do as well. So there are videos of Butoga that you can have, so people can purchase those. There's meditation programs I have. There's yoga and meditation programs. And so you're able to access that with me as well through my website and all my online programs. So it's really trying to make that impact more worldwide for people to be able to access it anywhere around the world. So please follow me. I'm constantly doing challenges, online challenges as well. I just finished a 21-day Ortega and yoga and meditation challenge for 21 days. We did 21 minutes. And it's just to get people into the practice of it. So not a lot of people are used to just, meditating. And you start with 5 minutes a day. And so now people that have taken my challenge are like, I had no idea this would be as simple as it was. And now I want more than 5 minutes a day. So there's a lot of good stuff coming and workshops that I do online as well. So please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, my website. I would love to connect with more people. Absolutely.
Well, definitely make sure you go connect with her, and we'll also have some information up for people to connect with you on social media as well. Jenna, it's been a pleasure having you here with us today, and I hope that you continue to come back with us and let us know as you have new things coming up, and we'll make sure we keep it updated. It's on the behalf of the YesGo audience, it's been a pleasure having you here with us today. Thank you for enriching our lives and lifting us to our next level. And for the many of you that's out there who connect with us and you follow us on YesGo, we have a special treat. Jeanette got something special for all of you who follow us on YesGo fan page. So make sure, if you're not connected with that, make sure you go to Facebook, YesGo, register so that you can get a part of what she's going to do, because we got something real cool coming up. But until next time, this is Coach A.M. Williams. I'm encouraging you to get out of your head. What are you waiting for? Say yes and go. God bless and have a wonderful day.
Love it. Bye-bye.
All right.